Good morning, guys. We are leaving our beautiful hotel in Pothuwil, Jetwing Surf. This place is beautiful. We are so sad to leave. This is going to be our last East Coast property. And now,
Sorry, we couldn't show you guys enough of Arugam Bay.
I know, but hey, there will always be another time when we come back here. We are going to be heading inland now to Monaragala. This road is really special because it's a really beautiful road. And this whole trip I've been excited to ride on it. There's going to be some hills, so we're going to ride without electric first, save the electric for the hills. It's going to be great. We going Chilau, Puttalam. Oh, me Monaragala to Gihilla? Battery at Tino, bike. Monaragala to Gihilla, charge Kala. Padina. Then අපි පදිනවා නිකන් මොකද බැටරියෙන් කිලෝමීටර් 40ක් යන්න පුළුවන්. Hello. So we are now going through the Ellawala National Park, and this road is seriously one of our favorites. It's so beautiful, so lush, so green, and when you're not going in a vehicle and you're going in a bike, you can hear monkeys, birds, all kinds of insects and sounds, and it's just so peaceful and really just beautiful. These are the kind of roads that you never think that you would cycle through, and it's such an adventure to do so. Alright, so these are the moments that we are so grateful for the electric. I mean, there have been some incredible uphills on this ride back inland, and I just feel like we would have really been suffering without it. Okay, and just like that, it looks like we're in hill country. I can see hills. So cool. Obviously not hill country, but going uphill a little bit. It's pretty cool how everything changed within 1 hour. So, I don't know if you guys can see, but there's so many butterflies on this road. So beautiful. Magical. And we have made it to Monaragala, guys. I think the difficulty level was moderate because we did have to cycle quite a bit and it got very hot, but we made it. Just enough battery. We have booked a room here in Monaragala, right in the town center. It's 4,000 bucks for this room. It's alright. It's got an AC and a really nice clean bathroom and stuff. So we put our stuff to charge immediately. We should be okay with about at least 3 hours of a charge, I think, because we only need to cover another 37 kilometers. It would be great if we have a full charge. That would be around 4 hours. And then we will be heading to Wellawaya. Alright guys, off we go. We are leaving Pavilion Hotel in Monaragala.
It's kind of a shit hotel.
It's kind of a shit hotel, but the room was alright. A little expensive for what it is. Food was really expensive, don't eat here. But yeah, worth it to stop by just for the day. Good thing is it's mostly downhill, so it's gonna be nice. We probably look like two clowns doing that, and I bet you we are going really slowly sometimes doing that as well. People must be saying, what idiots. What are the chances, no? Yeah. It's so nice to meet you. What, are you working here?
Yes, I'm working in Monaragala.
Oh, I see. It's so nice to meet you.
Okay, bye.
Bye. She watches our videos. Yeah, she's like, hi Sheneller, I watch your videos. So cute.
පොතුවිලි නම් පටන් ගත්තා.
YouTube එකද බලන්නේ?
ඔව්.
නියමයි. Bye. What is this town? Seems like a lot of people from Monaragala watch our videos. Cute. Happy to be here. Hi everyone.
Okay, so what is this? This is Kaduruketha Saravita, wrapped with betel leaf, including red coconut, jaggery, honey, arecanut powder, cinnamon powder, mass, nutmeg, cumin, and sugar candy and dried grapes.
And I can eat this?
Yeah, you can eat all together with the leaf.
Okay, I've never tried it before, but I'm going to try it now.
Okay.
So just put the whole thing in
Yeah,
now?
whole thing at one bite. Ah, yeah, that's correct.
First I tasted the betel nut. That was a bit intense flavor. Then everything else, the coconut and all of that is very sweet. There's something hard in there.
Please sugar candy.
Very interesting. This is like a traditional thing,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a gulak sort of.
Because our farmers in the villages, that's why they most became red.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
But here we do that line.
And they have tobacco, right?
Yeah.
Good morning guys. So yesterday we arrived here at Jetwing Kaduruketha in Wellawaya, and this property is very unique because it's actually Sri Lanka's only luxury agro-tourism resort. And it's also an eco-friendly resort, of course. And there's a really fantastic story to this property which I'm going to be sharing with you throughout this video. But first, to start our day, we are going to be heading to a nearby waterfall for a swim. Now that's something we haven't done on this journey yet, so let's go. At the Ellawala waterfall, and to come here you have to take about a 15-minute tuk ride from the hotel, and it's a very nice ride in itself, so you get a good glimpse into the village life that's happening around the property, as well as you get to see the new dam that has been built, the Wellawaya Dam. And while you're coming up this road, you actually get to see all the small shops and the parking areas that the villagers have built for people who are coming up this road. But it's also a little sad to see, because here is where you see the most affected people in this situation, because they rely on tourism. These structures have been built for tourists to rest and have a drink while they hike up this road. So I really hope that they hang on to their businesses and that they will be able to function at full force again. But let's go in and check out this waterfall. So this is it guys, this is the Ellawala waterfall and it is a beautiful one in my opinion. And another thing that I love about Sri Lanka is that even if you're traveling only around the coast, you just need to make a tiny detour to find something like this. This is actually very popular if you're in Ella as well, that you can come and visit this waterfall. Honestly, I really love it, but you have to be a bit careful. You can see quite a few boards here that are saying do not go in beyond this marker because it can be dangerous. So stay a safe distance away, somewhere over here, have a dip, have a swim. It's ice cold, but once you get in, you get used to it. It's a really nice one this is. And the best part is that if you come here on a weekday like today, you can have this all to yourself. Just make sure that you take back any of the things that you bring with you and leave only your footprints.
Alright, so just today I was telling Sheneller this is really starting to take a toll on our bodies. Our bodies are aching, like muscle fatigue, and this was just the need of the hour. It's like we bathed in the fountain of youth. It's freezing cold water, almost like having an ice bath. And yeah, I feel like I'm ready for another 1,000. I don't know if Sheneller is ready for it.
Now this is the king coconut, also known as Tambili in Sri Lanka, and it is one of the most important beverages that you must try when you're here. These are actually indigenous to Sri Lanka, but you can find them in South India as well. But they're supposed to only naturally be growing in Sri Lanka. So it's a very special drink. It's unlike any other coconut you've tried before. It's not like the coconut water that you find in the supermarket. This is naturally sweet and a really good electrolyte and just one of God's greatest gifts to mankind. We just finished lunch and I'm just about to dig into dessert, and what I'm having here is a Kurakan pudding. One of the things I love about this property is how much they have incorporated Sri Lankan local culture and traditions, but also local recipes and local items into the cooking and the dishes. Kurakan is a very indigenous, not indigenous, it's a very local traditional grain that is very highly nutritious and has been in production and one of the main grains that we consumed in the times of kings. We're talking like 500 BC here. So these are very ancient, traditional and very historical things and foods that we have been eating for a very long time that have lost popularity over the years. But since we're talking about current situation where things like import of wheat flour is becoming very expensive, this is a great time for us to turn back to our roots and really explore what we can do with what is traditionally available here naturally to us, what we can grow and what is really healthy and good for us and good for the Sri Lankan people and have been in their cuisine for a very long time, and to put a new spin on it and see what we get. That's very interesting. It kind of tastes like Valitalapa also a little bit. It's quite dense. What I like about it is that it's not too sweet, but when you have it with the treacle that they have given, you can balance it out just the way you like it. It's a very traditional tasting dessert, kind of like the Kaum cookies that you have during the celebration of the Sinhalese and Tamil New Year. Overall, I think it's a great start to exploring our heritage and putting a new spin on what's locally available here. So now it's time for me to share with you a little bit about the story of this property. Kaduruketha is named after the family that it was brought over from, the Kadurugamas. Ketha translates to paddy fields. So these paddy fields that are stretching over 50 acres that you see here have been here even before the hotel was here. Right now the hotel is continuing to run these paddy fields with 25 local farmers as a community engagement program. So what that essentially means is that Jetwing is providing all of the knowledge and input to help these farmers to grow this paddy in an organic manner. So this is something that's really important, because what that means is that the produce from this paddy goes 50-50 between Jetwing and the local farmers. Jetwing takes their half, and you can actually consume this heirloom varieties of rice throughout all of their properties, which is very, very unique and hard to come by, as well as the farmers get their share to sell into the local market or consume if they like as well. So Sri Lanka is a country that consumes rice as its staple. So as you can imagine, paddy and growing rice is a very, very big industry. Recently, the government imposed a hard ban on chemical fertilizer. So organic farming is not very common for rice in Sri Lanka, and this is actually somewhat of a niche market what Jetwing is doing here. So when the hard ban was imposed, it was a very difficult time for the local farmers. They had no knowledge, or they had not used their knowledge on organic farming in many years, and it really led to a loss of yield and a loss of income, which meant that the economic crisis really hit them very hard as well. But not only was the farmer affected, the whole island was affected because of the fact that the supply reduced, which meant that price increased, and during an economic crisis, the last thing you want is for your staple crop to go up in price. So it was a very, very difficult time for the whole country, and people are still recovering from it. Now don't get me wrong, I am a big fan of organic produce and consuming organic, but I think it's something that needs to be done strategically and gradually so that we can change the system without having too much of a diverse impact on the communities that are part of this. What Jetwing is doing here is a perfect example that tells us that this is quite possible. In fact, the farmers already have a lot of knowledge, ancient techniques and knowledge, predating farming that was using chemical fertilizers. We must not forget that we have been consuming rice and these grains for hundreds of years, thousands, during the time of kings when we didn't have chemical fertilizers. So that knowledge still exists, but it's about encouraging the farmers to slowly turn back into that knowledge and those techniques, and encourage them and teach them about the benefits, namely the benefits for their health, the benefits for the health of those who consume it, as well as the fact that exporting organic rice as a premium product can be a huge income source for Sri Lanka as well. So that is definitely something that we should be thinking about as a country. There are a few things to keep in mind though. For example, even if you change to organic fertilizers and stop using chemical fertilizers today, your produce is not going to be organic for the next 5 years at least, because of the fact that it takes a lot of time for the earth to purge out all those toxins and chemicals that have been put into it throughout the years. So like I said before, it's a gradual process, but I think as a country we really need to start thinking, one, about our own health and what we put into the market for our children and our families, as well as our farmers' health, as well as think about rice in a different way. We don't need to import rice. In fact, we could possibly be growing organic rice as a premium product and enter a new export market that we aren't really thinking about. Sri Lanka has a number of very, very unique grains that you can't find anywhere else in the world, and these are ancient grains that we have been consuming for years and years before white rice became widely used and common. For example, one of the grains that I got to try here at Jetwing is pacha perumal, a type of red rice that has an 11% protein content, as well as a lot of other minerals like zinc and magnesium and a lot of other things that are really good for your health and is great for children who are growing and need a lot of energy and just nutrition. So my question is, why do we not focus on growing these really, really superfoods, almost healthy and nutritional rice, and perhaps put it out into our own markets and export it? This is something that I really just want to put out there, and I want to ask you guys what you think about it, as well as maybe just put it out there in hopes that it will happen someday. Our time here at Jetwing has been really insightful for things like that, where I have learned new things about our community and about our food actually. And I'm very, very proud of Jetwing for doing this project. Something that I really, really like to see in companies, and it's something that everyone should come and experience, I think. So today we are having a very, very interesting, authentic experience. This is the Ambula experience. We're having a very local, traditional rice and curry. As you can see, we are eating it on this woven plate with the lotus leaves in here. And this rice, and that is the most important part, is the traditional heirloom rice varieties that are grown right here in the paddy behind us, and organic as well. So I'm very excited to try this variety and see how it tastes. So another really important fact about these heirloom traditional rice varieties is that it's actually very unrefined, and because of that they release sugar into your system in a much slower basis, which means that if you are diabetic, it's really good for you. But actually, even if you aren't diabetic, eating complex carbs that release slowly into your bloodstream is much, much better for you. So actually, in more ways than one, eating these heirloom varieties are much healthier for our entire country and our people.
And it is super tasty. I'm not sure if we spoke about it before on this series, but one thing you notice traveling all around Sri Lanka, you're going to see rice and curry everywhere you go. But in every region, the flavors of the rice and curry changes, right? And it's always a treat to just go try it. Like, just because you see rice and curry everywhere doesn't mean it's the same always. It always gives you a taste of the locality.
And how the people there like to have their flavors. And that's always another whole aspect of traveling, to be honest. Now we're about to have a high tea experience, and this one is really unique because it's a very localized version of it. We are out here on the paddy fields of Kaduruketha. This is where they grow their paddy as well as their organic farm. On the paddy, they have an authentic farmer's hut, and this is where the farmers usually rest and relax during the day, or sometimes maybe even watch over their crops at night. So they have organized a high tea inside of it for us with a lot of local goodies. So let's go in and see what they've got. So usually I will run you through the high tea menu, what we have. So I'm going to do the same thing today. This looks really inviting. We've got pol roti, one of my favorites, as you guys already know. We've got the vade, as well as some fried karapincha leaves, as well as some fried chilies. And the sauces and condiments to go with it are the green chutney, as well as the lunu miris, my favorite, onion sambal. And right here we have some plain tea, another one of my absolute favorites, and they're served in these coconut shell cups that were used quite often in the villages, now not so much. And served with it is a side of jaggery, as I learned from you guys in the previous vlog, also known as hakuru in Sinhala. This is a palm sugar, and this is what the original sugar was in Sri Lanka. People didn't have sugar in Sri Lanka, they had this. This was a much healthier version of it. And the combination, the royal combination, was a cup of plain tea with a piece of jaggery in the evening as you watch the sun go down. And here we are replicating that same moment. Good morning guys, it is 5 a.m. and we are just getting ready to leave Jetwing Kaduruketha. Our stay here has been absolutely phenomenal. I really enjoyed it and has been very insightful, especially since paddy and rice is one of the major industries in Sri Lanka. So it's definitely a very almost knowledgeable stay while also being a very luxury experience. So I really loved that, and that's what makes this property very unique for me. So thank you so much to Jetwing for the fabulous time, and I can't wait for the next Jetwing property. But until then, I will see you guys in the next video, and thank you for following our journey so far. Bye.
Okay, I'm going to take you cycle as you can cycle.
I am. And what I like about it is that it's not too sweet. And what I like about it is that it's not